Chicken soup and mac and cheese are two of the greatest comfort foods of all time, but have you ever wondered what would happen if they teamed up? This is Negresco, and while it might seem an unusual pairing, it is literally an edible hug in the form of pasta. Fresh chicken stock is made into a bechamel, then mixed with shredded chicken and pasta before being baked to perfection. The result is a dish with the flavour and nostalgia of mum's chicken soup, but with the texture and creaminess of the best mac and cheese. My name is Obi, and today I'm bringing you the ultimate Egyptian comfort food that you'll make all winter long. Think of Negresco as a blueprint to turn any of your favourite soups into an amazing pasta bake. The soup will be used to flavour the bechamel, cook the pasta and provide the meat for the dish. That way you'll have three components with amazing soupy flavour, and I'm certain this will be equally good with a Thai tom yum or a creamy mushroom soup. Despite the Italian sounding name, the origins of the dish are quite mysterious, and the only likely explanation I've seen is that it was made to use up chicken bones where meat was more expensive. While you could take a shortcut using store-bought chicken stock and rotisserie chicken, today we're going to make our own lightly spiced Middle Eastern stock for extra flavour. Start by melting 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter in a large stock pot. Once melted, add 2 small pieces of mastic and allow them to dissolve. The mastic isn't necessary, but it just adds a light pine flavour to the soup. For spices, we'll crack, then add in 10 cardamom pods, 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns and 2 bay leaves. This should all be toasted in the butter for about 1 to 2 minutes until the spices are fragrant. If you want, you could replace these with your favourite spices like cinnamon or cloves, but the original recipe has a great cardamom flavour. Now add in about 2 to 3 large onions or 5 small ones, which should be chopped to a medium dice. Saute the onions on medium-high for 4 to 5 minutes until they begin to soften, then add 3 cloves of garlic. Next add in a whole chicken or chicken pieces, and this one was about 1.5 kg in weight. Once in, feel free to sear the meat, then start adding water until you submerge the entire chicken. Now add 3 teaspoons of salt to the pot and cover with a tight lid while you bring it to a boil. When it boils, turn the heat down to medium and use a ladle to remove any floating scum from the surface of the pot. Cover the pot with the lid set ajar and let this simmer for about 40 to 50 minutes. At this point, the chicken should be fully cooked and you'll have a rich chicken stock which will make the bechamel taste of chicken soup. Remove the chicken from the pot and set it aside to cool while we go back and strain the stock. Using a fine strainer, take 800 ml of the stock and pour through the strainer to remove any onions or spices. This will be the stock going into the bechamel, and it needs to be smooth so the bechamel is saucy. Strain the rest of the stock separately, which we'll use to cook the pasta. This is the ultimate pasta hack. As the pasta cooks and hydrates, it will absorb the chicken stock, leaving the pasta itself tasting of chicken. For this dish, I like to use penne pasta as it's able to hold the sauce much better than the fettuccine or spaghetti that is normally used. Place your stock on the stove over high heat and add 3 more cardamom cloves if you feel it's needed and 1 tablespoon of salt. Bring this to a rolling boil, then toss in your pasta and you'll cook this for 2 minutes less than the cooking time on the packet. Feel free to top with boiling water if you need more liquid. While the pasta is boiling, take your cooked chicken and remove any of the skin before shredding the meat. I like to have bigger chunks of chicken like this, and I think a mix of light and dark meat works great for the texture. If you decide to make this with store-bought stock, then a rotisserie chicken will work great as a replacement. When your pasta is ready, taste it and you'll see that it's full of chicken flavour. Strain your pasta and set it aside while we make the bechamel. In the same pot I cooked the pasta in, I added 75 grams of butter and allowed this to melt completely over medium heat. Once fully liquid, add in 75 grams of all-purpose flour and stir this into the butter to combine them. Cook this while stirring for about 2 to 3 minutes until the mixture smells nutty and loosens up like this. Now you'll begin adding a total of 500 ml of cold whole milk, and for bechamel I always get the creamiest milk I can find. Add in about 100 ml at first, then stir to combine with the flour until it has been fully absorbed. Add in the next 100 ml and continue stirring and cooking this until it achieves a uniform texture. You'll basically repeat this over and over until you've incorporated all 500 ml of milk, and I'd recommend switching to a whisk after the 3rd pour so that you can work out any lumps of flour. After the 5th and final pour of milk, you should have a really smooth mixture that resembles a custard, and we can start adding in the soup. Once again, add in 100 ml at a time, whisking until it is fully incorporated in the bechamel. When all 800 ml has been added, add in 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of white or black pepper and mix to combine. Your bechamel should now have a slightly watery texture, and so we'll leave this to cook for about 5 minutes over medium-low heat until it reduces to the spoon coating texture. When it looks like a runny custard once more, the bechamel is ready and we can begin the final assembly. In a large bowl, add your cooked pasta and all of the shredded chicken. Pour in most of the bechamel sauce, leaving about half a cup, which we'll use to top the dish. Mix the pasta, chicken and bechamel together thoroughly to ensure that everything is evenly coated. Some people also like to add in some shredded cheese, but I like it without the added cheese flavour. When you're done, you should have a saucy pasta mixture like this, with all the chicken and pasta thoroughly coated in bechamel. Take a large baking dish like this beautiful clay one we got from Egypt and add all of your pasta mixture to it so that it fills the entire dish. Flatten any pieces of pasta that are sticking out so they don't burn. Then take the remaining bechamel and pour it evenly over the pasta, giving the whole thing a good coat. Finally, top this with a little mozzarella cheese, which will melt in the oven and give us a great topping. Place your dish into your oven set to 180 degrees Celsius and bake for about 20 to 30 minutes with the grill turned on. When the top has turned golden brown and crispy like this, pull it out and you're ready to serve immediately. What you'll be left with is a dish full of amazing chicken flavour with a rich and creamy sauce. I'm not joking when I say that it's so good, 2 people can finish the entire dish in one sitting. Let's taste this. The great thing about this dish is that you can literally taste the chicken in everything. It's in the sauce, it's in the pasta, and then you've got these chunks of chicken to just break up the texture. It's such a nice meal and it's so comforting because you've got that really strong chicken soup flavour, and that's something I really love. Apart from that, the sauce is really creamy and it works really well to tie the whole dish together. Overall, it's a great way of combining 2 amazing comfort foods into one amazing dish.